Tallahassee, Big Bend area sports fans. This is a brand new edition of the Extra Point for 2021. I'm Mark Adams, and I'm here with my tag team partner as always.
Coach Schofield, what's happening, Mark?
Coach, I'm ready to get back into it, man. Football has taken way too long to come back, man. Summer was just long and it was hot, and now we're in the middle of August, and I can't wait. I'm looking at how long it's been since we had our last contest. We had some spring ball, a little bit of 7-on-7 action, caught up with some people over the summertime, but now it's time to get back at it. And man, 2020 was just wild, like with COVID, and looking at how much effort it took on behalf of parents, administrators, and coaches just to get the season going. I was amazed that we had one. Many parts of the country didn't even have football, so we were lucky in the sense that we got a chance to have a season. Couple of teams went on some amazing runs. We're going to get a chance to talk about a few of those. But, Coach, let's go ahead and jump into it. We've got plenty of shakeups going on around the state. The FHSA has put all the teams into a bag, shook it up, and now we've got new teams in different classifications. Man, and it's going to be awesome. Let's go ahead and talk about 7A. 7A District 2, Lincoln, Childs, and wait, hold up. Lincoln's not there anymore. It's just Childs and Leon. So now we have a 5-team district. Trojans have dropped down to 6A, but let's look at this 7A District 2 with Leon and Childs. You also got Gainesville, Buchholz, Gainesville High, and then you got Ocala Forest. And really just if you're a Timberwolf or you're a Lion, man, you got to be hungry for this one, because it's not so much that it's going to be a cakewalk, but some obstacles have been removed, and the path to get to the playoffs might be a little bit straighter. Looking at just the way this district shakes up, Buchholz had an amazing season last year, and they returned quite a few guys. But, man, for Leon and for Childs, this looks like a golden opportunity for Leon to get back into playoff form, return some of the former glory, and for Childs to make history, perhaps as a district champion. We'll have to see how it shakes out. Coach, they got weapons on either team. Go ahead and talk about some of these guys on either side of the football.
Yeah, I'm going to run through this real quick. We got on Leon lines, we got Jack Brooks, one of the better kickers in the state of Florida. We got Alex Tutil, a linebacker, Karan Major, OL, and Mr. Do-It-All, Malik Jackson on the Leon Lions players. We expect big things out of this season. On the Childs Timberwolves, we got Anton Cooper, DB, Cooper Nice, Jaquez Dickey. Those are some of the players that we expect big things out of, and we'll probably, as the season add more, because as the season goes on, players they separate themselves by their play.
Yeah, absolutely, man. When you look at Jack Brooks on Leon, I mean, you can't overlook the three phases of the game. It's not just offense and defense, it's special teams too, and he's an absolute weapon. When you're down, you got your back against the wall, and you're really pinned deep in your area on your side of the field. You put a kid like Brooks on the field, he's going to flip it for you. He's going to immediately get you out of that jam. Averaging, I think it was 48.79 yards a punt last season.
I think he had a long punt of 64 yards during the season.
That's absurd.
I mean, if you're back up deep in your territory, this guy can change the field real quick for you.
Absolutely. And when I look at Childs, I think it's going to be trench warfare for them. A kid like Cooper Nice coming back, who's got some experience, especially on the offensive line. If they can get their ground game established, Childs might be that might be the pathway to them not only getting into the playoffs, but making a run out of it. And this district here is going to be entertaining. I like to see how each team is going to perform later on in the season. But, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you want to go ahead and circle your calendars for a couple of dates for Leon, really looking at just how they shake out. Just a couple of big games that they have coming up, also with the Childs Timberwolves. But, man, Navarre, Florida High, FAMU High, Buchholz, Lincoln, and that pivotal matchup with Childs on October the 29th is going to be absolutely huge. One of the things that I like to see, especially when it gets down to playoff time, is just who's going to separate who from the competition. So let's go ahead and jump down into 6A. We see where Lincoln has ended up in 6A District 2, and they've got some company. They've got the state runner-up from 2020, the Ricketts Raiders. as just absolute neighbors right there in 6A District 2. That's going to be a heck of a ball game coming up later on. It's already been a rivalry that has been going on now for the past several seasons. Anytime these two teams link up, it's 38-38 versus Southside Pride. And really, with these two teams going at it, there's weapons all over the field. But let's look at the rest of the district. You got Choctaw, Fort Walton Beach, and Panama City Mosley. For Lincoln, they want to continue tradition. They want to keep it going. I think I forget how many district championships in a row. I think they're up to like 17 now. It's crazy. But for Rickards, they're trying to show that last season was not a fluke. And Coach Lewis and company are not just going to lay down just because they've got some new competition in their district. But for 6A, this is really going to be exciting. Coach, go ahead and let's talk about who's going to be on either side of the football.
Okay, with the Rickards Raiders, we got Lionel Whitaker, a DB, a Maryland commit, expecting big things from him. And we also in the secondary, Cameron Bell. These guys are expected to anchor that secondary. Rickards replacing quite a few players this year and lost a lot of experience off of last year's team. And the man of the hour is Mr. Michael Townsend. Brought Rickards back from the brink several times, beating your home school. Godby.
Absolutely, man. Plus dagger right into my chest. I still feel that one.
I mean, put a spear right in your heart there. Then you got the Lincoln Trojans. I mean, a perennial champion, a perennial, always have great players, always have prospects on their team. Leading the way was Perry Fisher, Mr. Do-It-All offense for the offense and expecting big things. Also, a Maryland commit. Then you got Xavier Clark on the offensive line, expecting to anchor that front line. Then you have on the defensive side, on the back end at linebacker, you got Raylon Wilson and his brother Robert Wilson, which is a DB, a Louisiana Tech commit. And he's just
sure that's his little brother because he doesn't look little at all.
Hey, one is a little older. We always say the younger brother is a little brother anyway. So, but these guys are just a few, and it's many more. We probably left names off, and we'll get back to it as the season goes on.
Yeah, you can't forget about Christian Ducatore at wide receiver. I watched him last year. He put up highlights. So I look for him to do big things.
I think you just like the name.
That is an amazing name. Now you got a last name like Ducatore. You got to represent.
Yeah, you got to make plays, don't you?
But looking at Lincoln, this is going to be business as usual for the Trojans. Coach Tyson in his first year has inherited a program with it's like somebody giving you a car with the keys in it and the engine already running with a full tank of gas. He's got weapons. It'll be interesting to see because this schedule looks awfully tough. They open up the season with University Christian. That's no slouch, even though they're a smaller 2A school. Then Niceville, then Godby, Bartram Trail, Mosley, Gaston County, Leon, Choctaw. Then on October the 22nd, it's Rickards. Then they close out with Trinity Christian. Rickards, they open up with Trinity Christian. So there's going to be some big games here. No team that I've seen recently has like a slouchy schedule. These are all schedules that are built for playoff runs, and that tells you the mindset of some of these coaches. They're looking at the postseason pretty hard. Rickards, they have Gaston County on the schedule, Fort Walton Beach, then Godby, Mosley, Lincoln on the 22nd of October, ending up with Madison County on November the 5th. So this is a full plate, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mark, iron sharpens iron. You don't get any better because when you get in the playoffs and the teams have found out if your team is not battle tested, it is very difficult because it's down to the wire. It's one and done in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to encourage everybody to keep watching. We've got another edition of the Extra Point coming out after this. We're going to break down 5A and 4A, some more of your favorite Big Bend area teams. We got to figure out who they're playing, when and where, and who they have coming back on offense and defense. So that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Extra Point. I'm Mark Adams.
And I'm Coach Cofield.